Notice what's going on in your body right now. Get yourself settled in a way that makes sense for you right now. One thing we could bring to mind when we're doing a practice at this time of year is that it's the shortest day and the longest night. So, for people who are in Alaska or where I used to live in the Yukon and even further north, there's very little daylight. When I lived in Whitehorse in the Yukon, there was about a couple of hours of daylight in the middle of the day. We went to work in the dark and came home in the dark. But the flip side of that was that there were beautiful northern lights and the stars were so bright in the dark sky. So there's often different perspectives that we can take. So we're looking at a time that's darker and colder, but what are the blessings of that? And often they're found more in rest than in activity. And we have all of these traditions of light at Christmas, and different holidays all have their own traditions to do with light, and the winter solstice and the returning of light. So let's do a light based practice today, a resting practice. And the light in our own body, in our own heart center. And we might have thoughts of lights in our mind. Where I live, my nearest town is Muscatava Harbor, and there's a lobster fishery in this area. And every Christmas, they make a big tree out of lobster traps, and then they weave pine and a spruce tree boughs into it, and then they light the whole thing up with Christmas lights, and it's quite unusual and quite pretty. Whatever your traditions are, whatever your memories are of lights at Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever holiday celebrations that you have, bring to mind the visuals of that. Maybe it's your tree in your house. You might have really fond memories of decorating the tree, or maybe not. We have all kinds of experiences. So we have all of these memories and associations with external light. And then we have our internal experience as well. What comes to mind when we think about light in our body, in our energy field? We lighten up, which has to do with letting go of heaviness and darkness. When we do a practice like the blue star, we might experience that blue star, the brilliant blue white light in the points, or we might experience more of it as an energy. And some of the yoga nidra practices have to do with that warm golden light in the heart center. Light and warmth are so closely connected. Even if the air is cool, we might feel the warmth of the sun on our face or the warmth of a fire. At this time of year, it can be so welcome. And in the Eastern traditions, the yoga meditation tradition, we learn about the divine light. This is certainly not just in that tradition. Every tradition has some understanding or some experience of that. And in that, we work a lot in these practices with the koshas, the layers, the most solid being our physical body, and then our energy, body, and breath, the lower level of the mind and the higher level of the mind, and the body made of bliss, joy, and that those layers all cover our own divine light. And one of the ways that we might work with that in our practice is in the heart center. So let's bring our attention into the heart center now. It's that physical space in between the front and back and sides of the rib cage. It's not the physical heart, it's the spiritual heart center, the energetic heart center. And if your mind works with a visual, then bring to mind a warm glow of light in the heart center. And then notice that light radiates. It doesn't suddenly stop, it radiates out into the rest of the body as well. So even if the light is stronger at the heart center, visualize the light permeating out into the chest wall, the rib cage, the diaphragm muscle below the ribs, into the stomach area, the kidneys, the liver, through the whole digestive system, down to the lower abdomen, the hip joints, and down into your legs. Let the light fill up your thighs, your hip joints and knee joints and ankle joints, your calves, the muscles of your feet, the bones, all the way to the tips of your toes. And while that was filling up with light, the whole of your body was filling up with light. Notice your fingertips, the light that comes from the heart center up through the chest, through the shoulders and shoulder joints, to the muscles and bones of your arms, your elbows, your lower arms, into your wrists and hands. And that every bit of that space is filled with light. It's like when you turn on a light in a room, the whole space is full of light. We could let our body fill with light as well. And coming back to the heart center and up through the chest to the throat. Notice your neck, muscles of your neck, the bones of your neck, the large muscles in your shoulders and upper back, the back of the rib cage. It's very close to the source of light in the heart center. And keeping coming on up through the body, through the neck, into the skull, the top of the neck, the hinges of the jaw and the mouth, your teeth, your lips, your tongue, the optic nerve, your eyes, your nose, and the air that flows in and out of your nose, the whole of your brain, your forehead and eyebrows, your temples, your scalp, up to the top of your head. Come back to your heart center. And notice that when a light radiates out through your body, it doesn't stop at the corners and the edges of your body. It doesn't stop at your skin. The light in front of your face, the light that comes into the ears, the light in the back of your body. Notice the light expands. If you imagine your body is filled with light and the space all around your body is filled with light, notice that there's no difference. It's all light. And in some of that space where the light is, there's a body. Some of that space, it's just air or maybe a chair or the floor. But with your eyes closed, as you sense into that light that fills up your whole body, it radiates out into the space around your body. Notice that it's all light. And as you're aware of your whole body and the light permeating in and through all the cells of your body, bring your attention specifically to any area in your body that you might be wondering about or worried about. Maybe there's some pain in your hip joints or some other kind of concern for your health. Bring your attention to the light in that area. And if there's any shadow or anything other than that pure, brilliant light, to strengthen your attention there. Let that light be more present. Let it saturate all the cells, all of that space. and let any shadows dissolve into the light. And bring to mind your nervous system. The nervous system goes through the whole body. There's the vagus nerves, the wandering nerve, which goes through the body from the diaphragm up, is the newer version of that. From the diaphragm down into the gut is the older version, the more primitive brain version. And there's all of the places in our body where we might have stored trauma or we have contraction or tightness. And let yourself focus on that for a few minutes. Let the light heal your nervous system. You might visualize from the heart center, the whole of the vagus nerve is lit up. The pathways are smooth and working well. Your whole system is calm, responding appropriately, not hypervigilant, not asleep. We use this amazing nervous system that we have to be awake and alert, and functioning really well. With your mind focused on the light as it permeates the whole of your body, have that as your intention to let your whole nervous system be filled with light, to know that you're safe. All is well. We might have a mental picture of nerves that start off as a little bit more of a superhighway, and then it goes to a secondary road, and then a little trail. The nerves go into all the places in our body. And our nervous system is here to protect us, to keep us alive, to warn us. And it's true that sometimes our nervous system is worn out or over agitated. It doesn't work as well as it could. It's not as present. It's reacting to things from the past too much. And as you're paying attention to this light that's permeating your whole body, allow all of that to heal. And nothing fancy, just that that's our intention, that's our focus at the moment. And in this body filled with light, our nervous system is responding to that light. It's calming, centering, grounding. And notice the tissue in your brain. We have the top of the neck, the brain stem, those organs of the primitive brain that react very quickly to threat. We come up into the brain tissues, the prefrontal cortex. We've heard a lot of these words, learning about neuroscience. But however that might come easily for you right now, there's the bony part of our skull, and inside the skull, there's our brain. There's a lot of activity runs through this tissue in the brain, electrical, hormonal. We don't have to understand the mechanics of the brain in order to allow it to rest and fill with this light. No particular agenda, just to allow our whole skull area with the brain in it to know that there's light radiating from the heart center up through the whole of our head and brain. Allow that light to heal the whole of your brain. If there's anything in your brain that's kind of frazzled or over alert, allow that to be calmed and healed. And not by a conscious or a thinking process, just by our attention. We're just paying attention to the brain. And then expand your awareness again to include the whole of your body, the space that your body is occupying that's filled with light. And let that light radiate out into all of the areas around your body as well. There's no stinginess with that light, it just shines. And know that anytime that you want, you could come back to this. Tune into the light at the heart center and notice how that light could radiate out into your whole body and fill up your body. The spaces all around your body, your mind. And then when you're ready, open your eyes.